Okay. Hi, Bill Cuff, call this meeting of the Gloucester Community Preservation Committee to order at 6:05 PM on Monday, May 19th, 2025. In accordance with state open meeting law, this meeting has been posted as a hybrid meeting, will be recorded by video and audio, and will be conducted by both in-person and remote participation. If you are calling in on a phone, you can press *9 to request to speak. If you are watching on a computer or device, there is a raise hand button that you can tap or press to request to speak. Please use either of these options to be recognized to speak. Committee members in attendance tonight include Jennifer Lee Levitz Aronson,
Yes.
Bob Whitmarsh, Kate Parsons, and Kerry McKenna, and myself, Bill Cuff, Vice Chair of the committee. Committee members not in attendance include our Chairman, Matt Lundberg, Sean Henry, Harry Hoglander, Rob Gullo, and Sean Henry. Saying already. With that, we will proceed to the first item on tonight's agenda, but before we do that, I just want to share that you all got Matt's email that the city council approved our recommendations from last year.
Yes.
And Zoe's in the process and has drafted all the contracts.
Yep.
And you got them all in yet? Or they
They're all sent out. I've got a couple back. Back.
And if it was on the, it was previously on Gloucester Daily Times online, but it was also a nice little article on, if you hadn't seen it, on the Monday, May 12th. 1 million for 12 preservation projects. It was in the paper, so if you didn't get a chance to see it, you want to look at it later.
Thank you.
Matt, I didn't go to did anybody go to the city council meeting? I didn't watch it live, but I did watch it afterwards. Matt, as always, does a wonderful job. So I'll jump into the first item on tonight's agenda, which is to review meeting notes from our last meeting, which was, I believe, April 14th. And I know, Carrie, you had some suggestions for the minutes, correct?
Yes, to add, site visits, we need to include Hammond Castle. And that for the signs, sleeping again, that was one of the ones.
Yeah, I know, I don't think, maybe Matt said this, he states the rest of the projects do not need site visits as it would not be relevant. I don't know if that's totally true.
Well, it wasn't, we actually talked about Hammond Castle.
Okay.
We did one of those.
Yeah, and I also said I was gonna set up 2 site visits, one for Schooner Adventure and one for the east.
Yes.
Yeah, right. Okay, and we'll talk about, when we get into the project. Okay, so with those, we have to make a motion to?
Yeah.
Can you make a motion? You okay there, chief?
Yeah, I just got to think my mouth, I'll be okay.
Okay, I need a motion to amend the minutes as suggested to include that a site visit will with Hammond Castle and Schooner Adventure, as well as the East School Open Space Project. Site visit will be set up.
You need a motion?
Yes.
I'll make that motion.
Wait a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
And with those additions to the minutes, do we have a motion to approve the minutes from
I'll make a motion to approve minutes.
of April 14th? Thank you, Robert. Second?
Second.
Thank you, Jennifer. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. So that's done. And please note that committee member Harry Hoglander has joined us. Harry, we're very glad to see you. Good to have you with us.
We just approve the minutes, that's all.
That's it?
With some additions.
We just approved the minutes, Harry. Yes. All right, so now we're going to move on to the next item on our agenda, which is to review the applications review. So if you could bring that up.
Yep.
Zoe, that would be fantastic. So the purpose of reviewing the projects this evening is not to really, make a vote on what we, whether we like them, not like them. It's more about to ask questions to see if there's any additional information that we're gonna need from these applicants as they prepare for their presentations. So following this meeting today, at the end of the meeting, we'll finalize three meeting dates for June, July, and August. Zoe will send out an email to the applicants, like we normally do every year, asking them to submit their top three preferences for either June, July, or August. Right, once we set on those dates, Kate, and then the applicant can give their first two choices off to Zoe. Hopefully, not everybody says June 16th as their number one choice, and then we can divide it up to make the presentations. We have 12 applications this year. For Harry, is we'll do 4 per month, June, July, and August. We'll have Kenny Costa come in and give us an update on the budget in September. And then we'll probably make we'll have our final vote and recommendations in October. So we got, 4 months to really go through these applications and figure out what we want to recommend to the city council. Any questions on any of that? Okay, so what we have up here, we have the list, we have what they requested, the total amount of the project, and then who the contact is. So, what I'll do is entertain any questions that people want additional information on. If you don't feel like there's anything we need to talk about, we can move on to the next one. But the first one that up is Magnolia Library HVAC, and that was yours, Bob, right? Okay, anything you want to bring to our attention, or I know you did a site visit out
I did
there?
a site visit, and Matt Lundberg also was there.
Okay,
And we both felt that it was a good project. And it's not a tremendous amount of money, so I feel that's a pretty strong one.
okay, all right. Does anybody have any questions about that project? Concerns?
The ask is different, so we just have to update that, but I'll send you that separately. So the historic nature of the building, there's no questions, and like the windows, I thought there was a question on that before. That they might not have done the proper windows before, or that's not.
I think that's been resolved,
Okay.
yeah. And this will be something that does not affect the appearance of the building.
Okay, yep, right, I just making sure that the building is still considered historic, which it sounds like it is.
Very, very simple.
On the project schedule, you can note that I'll update the dates, it's currently showing April of 2025 as opposed to 2026. When it will be,
Right. Yeah, that's a
basically
good
before
point.
we go.
This is money for 26, not 25.
Right, so I think they just put the date in
Right.
incorrectly, so it
Okay.
just needs to be updated. And then the budget, in the budget area, it doesn't show any of the expenses, it doesn't show the breakout. So I would think they would need to show what the breakout is of the expenses. And I can write all this down here, or I don't know if you do that. So we, or whatever, I can put it all in, that's easier.
Actually, there's no expenses at all.
Right, exactly, they didn't put anything there, yeah, so that's not really okay. And then I have no documents uploaded except, oh, right, they hadn't really uploaded any of the documents.
So, would you get back to them, or should Bob reach
Yeah,
out
I
to them?
can contact Kylie
Yeah,
and tell her to add all this stuff.
Yeah, it just seemed like it was a little bit incomplete, and I don't know if she thought that because she's done it before, that we have all that information, I don't think that
Right.
matters.
No, it doesn't,
We
yeah.
have to reach out.
yeah, they do have to fill it out for each
Yeah.
application.
That's all I have in this one. Yeah, that's all I have in this one, but I'm actually, I had, so I wasn't quite prepared on that one yet. I had, the amateur radio is the first project, but I can see it's different than here.
Yeah,
So we're just in, oh, there it comes down, okay, so it just must just switch, whatever.
yeah, I was just going through, using the spreadsheet so that we could identify.
Yeah, but
who-
no, the spreadsheet that I have from that has it as the first one, so that's why my notes I'm starting to look at the notes for that. All good. Like, we're sure I'll figure it out there.
Are you looking to the live spreadsheet? Because I think he's updated it since.
I'm not looking at the line. Yeah, I just have used the one that he had sent before. I don't think it changed the number. Something.
Okay, any other questions on that one? We'll go to the outbuilding restoration, Manship Artist Residence and Stewart Studio. So Jennifer, you went on the site tour. That's what
I did go on the site. What do you have to say about it? What do you say about it?
I'm confused on really what they want to do here.
I think they're confused about what they really want to do there. And there still needs, there was supposed to be a board meeting that would clarify some things at the end of April. And I don't know whether that did or not. Are there no changes to the application because I didn't see
You
it?
didn't see that. Harry, what, do you know much about what they're
Well,
trying to do
it's,
there?
we're having a board meeting Thursday, so, I don't know exactly, the outbuildings, there are several outbuildings that I think are included in this.
There's the three little ones right
Yeah,
beside the driveway.
Right, and, I don't think there's any money for the barn in there. I have a look at.
No, there isn't. It's just these outbuildings.
Yeah.
There's three of them. One will be torn down, the other two will be
Restored, yeah.
The application mentions 4 buildings.
Well, there are,
Okay,
yeah, there are 4 buildings there.
okay.
There are 4, it's really, when you look at it, Kate, it's, in my mind, it's one big building, but it's like 4 separate buildings that have been attached.
Mhm.
One building, it was one building and a patio at one time. They added a building to the patio, and they added another building, and then they added a 4th building. So I'm not sure what they're trying to accomplish there, Harry. That's one of our biggest questions, because if they're applying for historic preservation, the buildings definitely need to be repaired, but are they trying to restore it to a certain, what it was a year ago? I mean, not a year ago, in the past, not a year ago.
Hundreds of years ago.
Years ago. Are they trying to restore it to what it was like years ago, or are they trying to establish, because in their application, they originally talked about creating some studios. So that would be like, it's not really, I don't know if it's preserving the past as of creating new studios.
It was, my understanding is that it was a space that he used. And especially the deck and where he would look out over the one of the gardens. And that from that perspective, I guess it could be considered historic.
Well, I'm gonna tell you what I'll do. I'll go back and talk to Rebecca and, the guy who takes care of the lands for the landscaping and the grounds, we should say. And ask them to clarify.
Yeah.
Well,
Submit at least a memo of clarification of what their intention is with that. Because I hate to speak for them, because that's not my forte.
well, I did have a lengty conversation with her, and even to the point where I suggested that they may want to not do this with us. They don't have to apply every year, that this little bit of amount of money for something that isn't the most important thing may not be advantageous.
Yeah.
And that she might want to wait, because there's some big things coming up where we could possibly be of more value. So if you want to go through that stuff with her, maybe, I'm sure you can speak with her differently than I can.
I just want to point out on the project schedule, it actually talks about demolition of the buildings. So it sounds like it's not just renovation, but it sounds like and demolition to me means that they're taking it all down. So just so you know that as you're.
Well, Yeah, I'll see if I can clear it up, and I'll sort of indicate the board's concern about what the eventual goal is.
I think it's confusion more than concern,
Yeah.
in my mind anyways, it's
Well, the
totally.
vision, of course, is to restore everything to the way it was when Manship had it. know, and,
Right. Originally, I thought it was just going to be a renovation, but it sounds like they are,
Well, certainly parts of it have to be
Apparently, you know, my understanding of it was,
demolished, certainly.
it was a vibrant place in the
Yeah.
40s and 50s, and he died, and his wife was, I don't think they had the wherewithal, or she didn't have the wherewithal to keep things up, and it just deteriorated until it was bought, and now it's been a restoration of trying to restore it back to the vibrancy and the, you know, have world-class people out there visiting and doing. So I think, I'll see if I can get some sort of either a vision or a memo that would classify exactly what the vision is for those three of them, right? There's three, if I remember correctly.
I would just,
So there was four, and one's getting torn down, as I understand it, just.
Why don't we do that, one thing in the middle?
Well,
Yeah.
So,
These buildings don't have foundations. The one on the end is closer to a floor. That one would lend itself to be in a studio. It feels like it could be one. And I think that's very doable to make that into a studio and still be preserving the character of the structure. One of the other buildings that they're keeping, another thing would be to say, they do need storage, so they will be using that for some storage. They have things they need to store that, all properties need someplace to store things.
Right.
but I think rather than us speculating, rather than us speculating, this should be spelled out in the application. They
Right.
mentioned 4 buildings, but only 2 studio spaces. They mentioned removing the structure which is beyond repair, replacing it with an outdoor workspace similar to one that was documented. But it would be simple, like 4 buildings, A, B, C, D. We
Yep.
plan to use B for this, we plan to use D for this, we plan to take down C. This is very straightforward.
Yeah.
We shouldn't have to spend 10 minutes speculating about what they're gonna do.
Yeah, what they're gonna do.
Right.
I'm on it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Preservation timber for Schooner Adventure. I'm the liaison for that one. That's pretty simple and basic. They want to order some timber, but they have to order specifically for the boat. And it has to be preserved and cured. So, anybody have any specific questions? I need to follow up with them.
Yeah, great application.
Yeah.
Very good.
they always do, yeah.
Well, not to get technical, but since I've been on this committee, they've applied every year, we've given them something, so.
Yes, they have.
Yeah, and I guess it is a small amount. I have no axe to grind with them. but
Right.
They're fairly well, they have a fairly decent amount of money.
There are some organizations that seem to apply each and every year for CPC funding, and as we evaluate them down the road, these are things we're gonna have to take into consideration. Because as we see at the end of this, I think there's a 1.9 million in requests. We probably have $1 million, historically, we have $1 million, 1.687 of applications. 437,000 historic preservation, affordable housing, 800,000, and open space and rec, 450. So, we're gonna be challenged to make some tough decisions on who's gonna get funding. Right,
I've been watching the real estate market here this year, and it's gonna be even less next year. Not many things to sell.
it's true. And ones that are selling for some big numbers. Okay, so we'll move on to the next one. The other one is fairly simple as well. Kate, I think you're working with Jennifer Lee on that one. Preserving the Virginia Lee Burton papers.
I just have one question. There's a reference to, they give the timeline for the documents to be conserved, and it goes all the way up to 2001. And the detail that they provide about the documents, some all historical, like way before that. So I was just wondering, what the ratio of historical and modern documents was.
Okay,
Because there's nothing on the budget detail that isn't historical. I don't think it's a problem,
Right.
but 2001 is very recent, and I would just kind of be curious to know what those are, and to just make sure that the overwhelming majority are historical.
historical documents.
So you can ask them, it's their contact. And it's also something that we brought up when they're presenting. I think bottom line, if it's a 2001 document and it needs some restoration for whatever reason, it would still qualify because all of our stuff is going to be, is historic, whether it's.
Some of my questions may be more for the committee.
Yep.
Haven't done this, but that is something I wondered about.
So that's a good point. To clarify with them, Oliver, are you gonna follow up with Oliver?
I can reach out to Oliver.
Okay, thank you, Joe. Good. What's the next one we have up there, Zoe? Providing ADA improvements to the Cape Ann Amateur Radio Association. It's yours, Bob.
Yes. We did a site visit.
Yeah,
Matt Lumber was there. You there? No? That's what, Karen, you were there.
I was there as well.
Anyway, yeah. So, as you remember, they, are gonna do some things inside and outside. Outside, on the right-hand side of the building, they're gonna bring a handicap ramp down to the side of the building for the rear. It's a door that has a good width, for wheelchairs to go through, as opposed to the front door, which is narrow. We're gonna make some changes inside to open up the doorways. And, I don't think there's anything like a bathroom with the argument, what is
They talked about that at the, we forgot to get the ramp, right?
Is that part of this?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Right.
Yeah. Yes, they are. On here, the notes that I had made were two, that, in the application, it does say that they can do this over 2 years if necessary. So that's something I think that we can keep in mind when we're coming up with the
Right.
amount of funding for them.
So,
And maybe we give them some this year and some next year. So I thought that was a good situation. And then also to make sure that they're told that they have to follow the Secretary of the Interior standards for rehabbing historical places as best they can. This is an ADA, it's a bathroom, I get that, but they still have to follow whatever the instructions are for that. I don't know them off the top of my head, but they just need to be aware. Which I believe they are aware now because we spoke about it that day, but just a reminder to them.
right,
To be reminded.
Okay, anybody have any other questions about that one? Now, the only other thing I was wondering, how much is, that they're looking for, can you just go back to? Yeah, they're gonna raise, they're looking pretty much for almost all of it from us, right?
yeah. They will have that source of revenue.
They don't have too many places to
Right.
turn to.
No, the amateur radio people are using the building. What they like to do is to be able to open it up to other groups, and this will help them to do that. Because one of the things they need to have, obviously, ADA compliant to do that. And they can produce some revenue that can be used to keep the building up. Right now, they're strapped for cash because these guys retire usually and they're older. And they're limited membership, limited resources. So this is part of the plan. I think that's a good thing toward keeping this building. And making it also that it's just not for small people, it's for the whole community.
Right.
Are there any possibilities for funding from other sources?
I wouldn't know.
You know, having been associated with nonprofits that are strapped for cash, they gotta come up with the 75 grand somehow. in order to, because we, we don't advance that money, right? So,
Right, they gotta come up with some. They're asking for 69,
Well, that's true, that's true. The point that Harry's making is they have to spend the money and they get reimbursed.
right,
yeah,
So are they gonna be, do they have the money to,
well,
to
I'm
do?
sure that they put in for the, I'm sure that they understand that we're not gonna advance the money. I mean, that's part of, always the problem.
Right,
And that's kind of a lift for a small organization. I'm just sitting here and kibitzing from the side. I mean,
well, I think the good part about this is that it's not gonna be done all at once, so they don't have to come up with the full amount
yeah,
to get
you're right.
reimbursed. They can do
Piece by
portion of
piece,
this to get reimbursed.
But they're also-
Different stages.
I mean, it could be that they're working with a vendor that understands the situation and is willing to wait and be paid once the CPC money comes through. CPA.
Right, as long as it's been approved, but they know it's good.
Exactly, right, so they wouldn't.
Yeah.
Start
that could
until
work.
it's approved. Yeah. I think that's how they would do it.
okay, any other questions on this project? Next, I think is Hammond Castle, which I know Terry has set up a site visit for Friday at 2:30.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So,
Yes.
so Harry, this is another annual request. Hammond Castle is usually the annual request, where they ask for money to help with their project. We gave them money last year. And this is a continuation of the project. I know I made a site visit there last year, I can't go on Friday, but, I think it's always good to see.
I was a little bit confused on the application, but I figured we'll clear it up on Friday. It talks about it being interior and exterior, but I think this is the interior, I think this is the organ pipes that they're actually focusing on with this rounded funding. So I will get that cleared up on Friday.
I thought it was a rose window.
You know, the rose window was last year, and that's another note I have, is to get an update for the rose window. It's the rose window side of the organ.
Okay.
It's using this description. And I mentioned last month, I feel like that title should be changed because I think it's causing confusion amongst us on what.
That would be, yes.
Exactly,
Yeah.
because the rose window was last year,
Right,
and we do need.
Has that been done?
I don't know, I was gonna ask for an update on Friday, I'm gonna go with that.
Yeah.
But the application for this year talks about the exterior wall of the rose window, but it's the interior, I think it's the pipes that they're doing, and the pipes are not on the pipes of the organ, they're not on the exterior, so it was just a little bit confusing, we'll get it cleared up.
right.
Right.
No, I'm confused. That was my one question, confused, what's the difference between last year and this year?
I believe that they're using rose window wall as a descriptive of which part of the organ they're doing. You can see organ pipes that actually abut the rose, the wall that the rose window is on,
Okay.
as opposed to like around.
I think, yeah, that, looking at the description there, it's a rose window side organ chambers restoration, so it's organ chambers restoration on the rose side.
Yeah, that's what
Yes.
it's the rose window.
That clarified that very nicely, that's very good.
I think so, I just want to double check, so there also somewhere in there talks about exterior and interior. And I don't know exactly where it was, it's just the.
Right. And a little description of what they're actually doing to these pipes,
Yeah, well, they're taking them off and they're cleaning them and they're restoring the ones that need and they're building ones that are missing.
Yeah.
And they know, there's an awful lot there.
right? In regard to the fact that they are coming back every year, there's a lot to do there.
Yes, I agree.
And the thing about the Hammond Museum, it is open to people of all ages. They do a lot with students. And it's also a great attraction for the city. And it is one of the most historic buildings with a very storied, inventor, very interesting inventor, who was in touch with people in their contemporaries in
Carrie, out of curiosity, would you ask them if they got the windows from France?
Yeah, that's part of the. That's part of the update. I don't even know if they ever sent them because.
They were
at one
supposed to
point-
send the window to France.
Right, but then at one point, the guys from France were coming here to take a look and see
Right.
if they could do the work on site. So that's why I was curious to know where they stand with that, and I don't know the answer, but we'll find out.
Yeah, well, they beat the tariff anyway.
Yes, right.
Right.
Also regarding the Hammond and Schooner, I personally don't mind if they come especially those two, because all of what Bob said, Schooner is a historic landmark, one of two here in Gloucester. I mean, I think it's a treasure, a jewel that we really need to help. They do a ton of fundraising, and they have a very generous board that helps them out a lot. So the small amount that they're asking
It's also
for.
an educational thing.
I feel it is,
For
but it's the
kids
small
here.
amount that they ask us for, and most years, I just feel like that's showing community support. So I would be 100% in support of both them and Hammond Castle, because I do think that there's a lot going on there, and I think they've got a new development person there who I think is doing a great job.
At Hammond Castle?
Yes, yep. So I think that they are starting to get more money in on their own. That's going to be helpful to them going forward. But I do think they're still going to need some help from us.
Ironically, over the weekend, I was on the internet, you know how you get these news blurbs, and there was a news blurb about a medieval castle in the North Shore. Yeah, if you want to go see a beautiful medieval castle in the North Shore, it would be a great visit for you and your family.
There you go.
Gee, I wonder what that
They do
would
nice
be.
job.
What I find so intriguing is that it just wasn't built by somebody's conception, but he brought it over here, actually from France.
It's like,
I've been to 2 weddings there, and it just is magical, you know.
Luxor.
Wow.
Yeah,
Okay, any other questions on that one?
no,
Okay, so we'll know more. Go ahead, Steve.
I noticed that the ask has changed.
Yeah, so I have
Is that a big deal?
many of them have, so
Okay, so that
I
just.
think Matt has got some, if not all of them, but I have that all listed, and I'm gonna send a separate email on, because I just wrote them all down when I saw them. Many of them have.
What has to happen as a result of that?
Nothing, we just update our worksheet, I mean, yeah.
Great.
Yeah, we're still early enough on, but that's.
it's only money.
It's only money, it's not only money. Yeah, no, we just wanna make sure that our spreadsheet has accurate what's requested.
Okay, this is the Universalist Cemetery. The Gloucester Unitarian Universal Church. And Carrie was the contact person, we did a site visit there. Anybody have any questions about that?
I think there's a confusion on the budget page, but that's something I can handle with her, I think it's, let's see, the total amount didn't add up to what it should. She put in, I think, 28,700, and it should be 32,600. No, I'm sorry, the total showed 33,695, and the request was 32,690. I think it was just an error. That was the only problem with the application that I could see, but, I think this, I know there's gonna be questions on whether it's historic or not, I think it is. I don't know if we need to go to the coalition, I don't know, Zoe, you should weigh in on this, or do you think we should call a coalition on it? I mean, I personally think that if somebody like, what's his name, Gloucester, oh my gosh, I can't think of his name, he was a former slave.
Dalton.
Gloucester Dalton.
Gloucester Dalton.
Yeah,
Oh.
is that his name?
Dalton, Gloucester
Yeah.
Dalton.
Freeman, too, Freeman's right there.
Or Freeman, right, they believe he's there, but also they believe that, I think it's Dalton, Gloucester, whichever.
Yeah, whatever.
I'm sorry.
What I thought was very interesting is the names are names that we have streets named after these
Yes,
people.
right.
You know,
Yeah.
so these people were the people that were very influential in the community.
At any rate, I feel like if they're trying to mark who's there and really trying to figure that out, I just think that's very historic, and the only way to get to that is to take all of those weeds and all of that English ivy out of there to do it. So I know there's question on whether or not
Right.
the removal of that stuff is of a historic nature.
Right.
Well, it's invasive, it was not a plant that was there, 200 years ago. So I would argue that it is, but we might need more help, and I'm concerned there's gonna be a lot of, question back and forth with us on this one, so I'm thinking maybe we should get some guidance from the state coalition just to see.
Anthony Crookwell, who works for the UU, was there today, as a matter of fact, trying to cut down the forests of Strong Gap so that they can, keep it out as much as they can.
This might be a question for later, but they have 15,000 for site clearing with no other detail. And I just wondered how realistic that was, have they talked to someone, could it be broken out a little bit more?
Well, I think she had told us the day of that she had quoted with different people, but I don't know the exact detail on that, but certainly if that's something.
This was to do some ground penetration type thing,
Yeah,
kind of where the bodies are, and hit markers in,
yeah.
trying to identify what's there.
I think that this site clearing that Kate's talking about is just a general number of $15,000 to, and I assume that's.
Is that a portion of it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Unbudgeted. But we can certainly get that more defined if you want, more defined. Yeah, and I think it's a mess, as we saw that day.
Well, a lot of places have paths, and I think that there's so much brush and possibly trees and roots and things like that that we cleared out. So we can create some way to walk around the snow and safe.
So you're gonna, follow up with Stuart
Yeah, I'll ask you and make sure.
about, cause I really struggle with this.
Yeah, I know you do.
Yeah, I
And
really
I
do.
understand why.
Yeah,
So it's
because
just two ways of looking at it.
Yeah, I mean, I think of what we did at the cemeteries here in town.
Yeah.
That was more preservation of the cemetery stones. And, that's more historic preservation. This is cycling and,
But with the purpose of finding out what else is there, and the only way they're gonna find that out is if they can clear out all this.
I agree, so go do it, go clean it up and
Yeah.
come back and ask me
Yeah,
ask
and
us from
that's one way of looking at it. Or, yeah, I mean, sorry, when you.
I mean, it's been let go for so long.
Yes.
That's the
Yeah.
issue. It's not something that's been maintained and,
When you're speaking with him, if you could just, so my reason for thinking that it's historic is because I believe there's a lot of good historic information there. And the only way we can get to that is to clear it first. So that's where I would counter as to why I think it is. But again, I think we're gonna need
well, I think it's a historic site. I don't think
somebody smarter than me to.
I think it's a historic site. It probably should, there should be some preservation there, but what they're asking us to do right now, I don't know if it
It's
falls.
not a landscaping
Well,
Yeah.
project.
I think, as part of clearing that, and the discoveries will probably be a surprise historically. I mean, I've got a soft spot in my heart for cemeteries after working with the last one out.
Yeah.
And there was some real surprises there that I didn't even know that it was a class distinction. You didn't have money, you still got buried out there, but you didn't get a stone.
Yeah.
And some people did, and some people didn't. But
Yeah.
I would, it's intriguing. I support the idea of clearing it just to get to the historical
Right.
perspective that's beneath it.
In my mind, that's the only way they're gonna get to that, is it's clear. They can't afford it.
So what happened? They just let nobody ever took care of it?
It just hasn't been, yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
they may have taken care of it, it's just got ahead of them too.
No, they didn't take care of it.
Huh?
They didn't take care of it.
Well, it probably is out of sight, not out of sight, but out of mind. They have considerations.
Well,
I don't think you got ahead of them. I just think they didn't take care of it.
the other thing too is, they had to keep the building up.
Exactly, that's another thing to keep in mind, that they've been working on that building for a number of years, and I assume that is the priority. And now you're saying, okay, we have here, that here.
And there's a great site visit, Harry, because I didn't realize this piece of property
Right.
existed.
Yeah.
And at one time, it was a wide open field, but then
Yes.
all these houses got built around it
Yeah,
and it got enclosed and.
well, there's seven cemeteries in this town because they had to bury people over the last 400 years someplace, right?
That's right.
One thing I wondered, and I asked during site visit, I didn't really get a good answer, was if there are kind of conservation aspects to the removal of this, like, you can't just go into the space presumably and rip everything out as if it were someone's backyard. And so,
But
Well, because there, what might be underneath, and might damage it, and particularly
Oh,
stone.
actually, she did say that, right, you're right.
Well, I asked her that,
Okay,
but she didn't really, I was trying to almost push her to be like,
Yeah,
hey, is
So,
there?
I do remember that conversation, I do remember what you asked, and I thought she said that, yes, that they understand it has to be done very carefully, and maybe that's why it's such an expense. I don't
I
know.
think it was something too about not, the space can't really have heavy machinery in there also. So it kind of got a bit muddled, but I didn't feel like I got a straight answer.
Yeah.
Yes, this has to be done in a particularly knowledgeable way such that we don't damage the historical.
Well, I thought I read in the applications a while ago that there were several boundary fences that now are covered and they don't, I mean, that's why they have to survey
They
this.
definitely need to, there's one house that literally steps onto somebody's head, I think. It's like right there, the backyard is, on the cemetery, and they'd actually asked for permission to put a little garden on the cemetery property, which the cemetery gave them permission to do that, but they definitely need to know what they own and what they don't own. People gave them that permission, not even knowing whether it's theirs or not.
Would that make it more historical in your view, to pull it out, if it had to be pulled out in a particular careful way?
No, I don't think so.
I think we need to check with the commission
Yes.
to see if there are remedies, this can't be the first time this issue has come up. And, do we need to help them fundraise, do we need to find somebody to teach, to show them how to get their money, to do that part of it so that we can fund the rest? I mean, there are all, a lot of ways of looking at it. So I think that's it, I think we have to ask.
Oh, yeah.
I think so, it's like- yeah.
Right. Okay. All right, what's the next one, so, the Washington Street, this is a $36 million project, we're asking for $250 from us, this is the affordable housing area. Sean Henry is the contact, we did a site visit there, I know some of us, I went to it, I think Carrie was there, Bob was there, Jennifer was there. It's a very expensive, not expensive, expansive is what I was trying to say, project. I think 55 rental units and 7 townhomes that are gonna be
Plus the
available.
townhomes, there's one large building,
Yeah,
and then several of the town duplexes.
duplexes, yeah, yeah. Where they're gonna be residents, where people can buy them,
Those, yes, I
right?
believe that's correct,
Yeah,
where the others are renters.
so, yes, the other are rentals. And 30%, I think 30% have to be,
Well,
There are certain percentages of low income.
the low income,
Yeah, not all, it's not all, unfortunately, it's not all at all, and the ones that are as low as I'd like to see them, but the ask is a formula that Harbor Light uses. They need that community participation, and therefore they're asking for the 1%.
right?
It shows that the community is supporting the project, and we kind of have to do it.
Well, one of the
We
things,
can't give 250, but we need to give it something.
well, one of the things, and I'm sure it's gonna come up when we talk about the next project, is maybe we don't give them any money and turn it over to Affordable Housing Trust and have them take care of it. And then, when I say that, I'm saying we give money to Affordable Housing Trust.
I'd rather just give it right to them myself.
This is a $36 million project.
They just need to show community support. If they get it
Yeah, yeah.
from both organizations, that's.
We've done that before, though.
Yeah.
Many times, that's why I said it's the formula. It's the way they do it. I objected to it years
Well,
ago.
what I'm really doing is, I mean, I don't have any problem with this project. What I'm really saying is, we have to, as a committee in the future, have a discussion about what is our relationship going to be with the Affordable Housing Trust? Because now they're coming in and asking us for 300,000. or whatever the number is gonna be, in 250?
Affordable trust?
Yeah,
Yeah, that's what, 300. So what I'm saying, Bob, is item number 10.
Right, I
This
see.
is the Affordable Housing Trust. They're asking for 300,000, and then we have these projects asking us for money.
Right.
Um,
The question is can they take some of this out of the 300?
exactly.
Well, I
No,
think that
they
they're
can't.
probably gonna take, I think the Affordable Housing Trust is probably gonna give them something anyway. And then we're gonna be giving the Affordable Housing something as well. I don't see us giving them 300. And I would rather give this guy 100,000 or 200,000 or 150 once or whatever we decide, and know that he's getting that full amount from us, and then let the affordable housing give them what they think. I mean, I'd rather have control over what we're giving them than give it to the Affordable Housing Trust to say what they're gonna give in total.
it's actually better to do it separately because then they have two separate
That's what I'm saying.
pieces of support. It really is.
Organizations showing support.
That's so,
All right, so we don't have any additional questions really for this project per se.
yeah.
This is a great.
We need to see
I'm
it.
excited about it.
I just noticed that there's a mistake in the project schedule. It says the construction start is April 2027 and the completion is August 2027.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And they say right in the application it will take 16 months.
Pretty fast.
Yeah, exactly, pretty basic.
Now, Harry, I just gotta bring this up, because I know this has been a question of yours in the past. The gentleman who was there on the site visit, correct me if I'm wrong, for those who were on the site visit, was affiliated with Catholic Charities. And I think they're doing it in conjunction with Harbor Light Homes.
Yeah, Archdiocese, right?
Right, well, Catholic Charities is a nonprofit organization that's, is part of the Archdiocese of Boston, but,
They actually
I
say.
I
Yeah,
never
they say
remember
they talk about the Archdiocese.
yeah, so I just bring that up, Harry, because I know you've had some, questions in the past about the mixing of church and state.
This is not
It's
bad.
the Planning Office for Urban Affairs, a nonprofit housing developer affiliated with the Roman Catholic Archdiocese of Boston.
Is
They're
one of,
basically a major
is
partner.
one of the partners and is the major partner in this project. It has nothing to do with the Catholic Church or anything, but they're one of the, major partners in this. I just bring this up so you're.
Well, I mean, we gave money to the YMCA as well, so.
Really?
I'll have to look at it a little closer. I
Oh,
was in particular, my particular
No, it's,
concern was.
it is a valid, I mean, it can be questioned by the general public, is what the concern is for
Yeah,
us. And I think what we decided on, it's like, as long as we're not giving money to a church or an organization where there's actually going to be prayer services happening
Right.
in the area, which I don't think that's gonna be a part of this project.
right.
So I think we're fine on that. I don't think-
Yeah, no, I think, yeah. I think it is, as long as it's not money that's designed to promote a religious service or religious organization, et cetera. It's gotta be for the community as a whole.
Well, I mean, I'm sure that they are precluded from excluding non-Catholics from this project. So, I mean, I can't see, I have to look at the details, but it does seem
I
to
don't think
me
it's gonna be-
like they're more of a surrogate,
Yeah,
a lender or
Yeah, but
funder than they are.
they're not the entity itself.
A practicing religious organization. It's, you
right, I
know.
don't think it's gonna be religious practices happening.
It's just have to be a source of whether the funding or.
Right, next up,
Open up their pockets, yeah, sure.
okay, next up is the Affordable Housing Trust. They're requesting 300,000. I don't know if anybody has an update, and that's the CPC contact for that. I don't know if anybody in this room has an update on what's happening with the Affordable Housing Trust.
Well, question really would be, how much money do they have from the money we're getting before? Is it just sitting there?
Yeah, I'm curious what they did with everything from last year, just everything that they had from last year, from ARPA, from us.
Well, I think the ARPA money, and again, this is based on my recollection, the ARPA money had to be committed by the end of last year,
Yeah,
or it had to go back.
right, so I'm just curious how they,
So they did, yeah,
They did it.
they
They
did.
just did it.
And they gave it, and they did give it to projects that we actually gave money to. So, in the past, and, you know, I'm thinking of, you know, the, Padello, what is it?
Yeah, on Main Street.
On Main Street, yeah.
So,
Yeah, Patillo, yeah, building, and, the other project down here, they gave some money to Action, not for the rental assistance program, but for something else,
Or a single room occupancy,
yeah. So,
a lot of money.
yeah,
And Bill, the,
Bill Wheat
Maple Avenue
project.
has some too.
so, and if you want to go back and, you know, that's the other thing I wanted to mention, I know tomorrow night, the open space, and we're gonna talk about this in a minute, they're having their monthly meeting, tomorrow night, and if there's a project if you wanna zoom in on it and listen to how they discuss the East School, open space project, you can do that, or you can go back and watch the recording of what affordable housing did. So that's one of the questions we're gonna have for Larry Oaks is give us a breakdown of how you spent the money that was given to you last year. In ARPA funding, the 1.5 million.
But I have a great deal of respect for Larry, and I haven't talked to him lately, but I don't know exactly how that 300 grand that he's asking us, where that's, is it just to be deposited there for use?
Yes.
Or
That was my
it
question.
doesn't have any particular projects?
No, so what happens is, the Affordable Housing Trust gets money from the tax situation of the city every year.
It's the rental.
The rent,
Don't look at like
Tax
Airbnb.
on Airbnb.
Yes.
peanuts.
And
Right,
and
okay,
some
so
other
that's where it typically gets money, so now they're trying to see if they can increase that by getting money from us each year. And then they have a bank of money where people who are doing affordable housing developments or doing a development where affordable housing is a part of it, can apply to them for some money, and then they would kind of dole it out as they saw fit. So
So-
it eventually gets to the affordable housing people, but we don't have any control over it, really. Once we give it to them, that being said, they still have to comply with whatever rules we have, that they have to comply with the amount of money that we give them. It's very confusing, and it's,
Well,
you know,
This
it's
makes
still
it
my
very
mind,
simple
yet
question.
to seem.
But who are
So they're people that, I don't know if they're appointed by Greg or is it?
They-
really what the entity is.
Yes, and how does one
The
contact
entity.
this entity?
Is a city,
Yeah, I mean, if you were interested, you would send a letter to the mayor's office and say, I'm interested in becoming part of the Affordable Housing Trust. And, you know, I know that there's real estate agents on it, there's mortgage,
Lawyers.
yes, yes.
There's also,
It's
they
good
also
intended.
get funds if a developer is gonna not allocate the 15%,
They have to be
they
opt
have
out,
to pay what those units would be.
right,
Historically, I live up in the villages of West Gloucester. Historically, they were the only ones.
2008, they're the only one to put money into the affordable housing.
That's right, and they put money into that in 2008 or 9, that's
Yes.
what it was. And that was slowly parceled out.
Yeah.
But even up at the crossroads and other things like that, they elected to
Yeah.
offer 15% rather.
Yeah.
And I think, I haven't seen any other development that's ever put money, you know, that hasn't complied with 15%. I guess it's pretty prohibitive
yeah,
in today's prices.
yeah, it is, I mean, it's just an opt-out if they don't want to be putting any affordable housing in the development they're doing for whatever reason, then they can pay into this fund. That being said, so the affordable housing fund in Gloucester here has been dormant for a number of years, so I want to say 2 years ago, it kind of started back up. with
Yeah,
Larry
you're right.
Oaks and a few others
2023.
after this, you know,
Right.
and they are like bringing new life to it, which I think is a great thing. I personally feel like I'd like to see a little bit more history behind it before we start saying that we're gonna give all of our affordable housing money to them.
Right, but it does, their application does say they're looking for a consistent and predictable
Yes.
source of annual revenue for us.
Yes.
So that's what they would like to do, Kate, I think. I think they would like to get us to get them 300,000 every single year. and that they could use that money for affordable housing trust. Now, Matt's background, is that he, at one point, when he lived in Acton, he was on the CPC for the town of Acton, and that's what they did. They didn't make any decisions, he can talk more about it when we come to this application, but in Acton, from my understanding, talking to Matt, was that they did not take, they gave the money to the Affordable Housing Trust, so let you do it, let you deal with it. But members of our committee, I think, some degree feel that we should, we'd like to have ownership on.
So for me, I'd like to have a little more time to see this develop and make sure that this organization is gonna be as viable as we all think it will.
Right,
And that's.
right. And the reason why I got regenerated is because they did get that 1.5 million of ARPA funds that the mayor allocated to them. So now they had a pot of money and they needed to have a viable committee to allocate those funds, which they did last year.
Well, there's no question that this town is focused on housing, whether it be affordable or not, so.
Right.
And affordable housing, I guess, is.
So the question we have for them, as a committee, we want to know, what did you accomplish last year? What
Yes,
did you do with the funding? We gave them 100,000 last year. What did you do with the 1.5 million? And,
yeah, I think that if I remember the discussion, they had asked for more, and we were kind of shocked with, but they dropped $1.5 million on them, and we said, there's other places we want to put this.
I think that's part of it,
Yeah,
The problem with that 1.5 million was they had to do it so quickly.
yeah, that's right.
So it wasn't as considered
Right.
as it might have been, and that's not, they're not that fault, per se. They probably could have and would have done a better job with it. If
so
they
do you have any more information on that, or
No,
do we pretty much?
yeah, I don't know anything.
I agree with you. Yeah, it was just rushed, well, not rushed, but they did it when.
I thought they did an okay job with what
Yeah,
they
I
had.
did too.
The constraints, here's just a little note on the, for instance, with Hilliard, that they're required to have a certain percentage of affordable housing. But the rate for affordable housing is so high that it's no big deal for them to build it and accept the affordable housing as part of it. They don't even really lose money on it at all. It's much less expensive for
Why
them
is
to
it,
do that.
if I remember that, it's based somehow, we're in the Boston
We're in the greater Boston,
area.
all the way down to Quincy. We include Cambridge and Boston and many places that
It's
have.
109,000, it's a percentage of 109,000.
Yeah,
It's huge. So they're not losing any money really at all. It also depends on how they're structured. But just general contractors who have to fill that, what percentage is it, 1%? The small percent that have to be low income, it
10%.
flows. It's much cheaper for them to just build it. That's why they are contributing to the fund.
yeah. Who's next?
We have, you're next, Harry, the
No.
Cape YMCA Camp Spindrift Pool.
I gotta confess, I just got back from Florida.
Yeah.
Last week, and I didn't go, whether Rob did or not, I don't know whether he.
I do not believe there's been a site visit done yet. At our last meeting, we talked about it had to be scheduled.
Yeah, all right, I'll try to get a hold of Bill, and if he hasn't done it, I'll walk down the hill.
Yeah, I don't think he's done it yet. I think our big concern, and I think Kerry brought it up, and I happened to pick up on it as well, is they talk about that pool being a community pool, open to the citizens of
I
Boston.
think they changed that in the full application. I did not see that in the full application this time.
They changed it in the application.
Yeah, which is fine, because in eligibility, they were talking about the community pool, the only community pool in Gloucester, and it's not, I don't think it's a community pool, I think you have to be a member to go there, so it doesn't really make it a community pool.
Pool, right?
That wasn't mentioned in the application now, so I think they took that out. But I'm also confused within the application, they talked about skimmers that have to be replaced right now this year, they discovered. So I don't know if they're asking this money for the skimmers, or if they're asking to redo the pool. I was a bit confused on, and they changed their request from 300, which is what they asked for in the eligibility, to 150. So it's making me think maybe they are just updating the skimmers, this funding. I don't know, but we definitely need a little more
Clarity on that.
clarification on it. Please, second.
No.
Yeah, but yeah, no, they did take that out. I didn't see that in the application that they were calling it a.
Do you know whether Rob has gotten over there or not?
I do not believe he's been over
I
there.
don't think he has either.
If he would have invited us to a
Yeah,
site visit.
yeah, I don't think he has.
Well,
Yeah.
if I go, you'll have to get your bathing suits ready.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go for a swim.
Who's the contact over there, just so
I think
we
so.
don't know?
Her name's Allison.
Up.
Allison Roberts.
Allison,
There you are.
yeah.
There you are. That's your number
978.
there, 978-927-6862.
Got it. So what are we looking for? Just a clarity again? Yeah.
Yeah.
So Bobby missed, action. I think. The
Oh,
time.
yeah, we missed Action Inc.
Oh, it's just a quarter of an inch.
Jump down to Keith. Yeah, thank you, Keith. This is a very familiar one, action-based rental assistance program. We're requesting $250. We've funded them the last several years.
Yeah.
Have you had any, did you get a chance to get over there and check out Action Inc?
I did, yeah, but it was more of a meet and greet than,
Yeah,
you know.
pretty interesting organization, they do a lot.
Yeah, I mean, they made a lot of good points about things that are, rising rents, and there's a program in Lynn that I guess is kind of being less generous and, fuel assistance becoming that, and it just seems like there's kind of a perfect storm of things making it harder and harder for people to, pay for housing.
And this is our best way of getting actual money to actual people,
Yes.
as opposed to
Yeah.
Harbor Lights, which is very, very valuable, and they do a great job. But it's years down the road, and it's a spit in the ocean, whereas this really
Yeah. This is
helps
direct
people.
funding.
The story she tells will bring tears to your eyes. The rescue of
Oh,
some
yes.
people.
Well, what I think is really great about it is, it's not, like this program will get them in the door.
Yeah.
So that they can be exposed to many other opportunities, because it's never just housing. If they're having trouble paying for housing, there's a problem with jobs, or there's a problem with childcare, or there's a problem with substance abuse, or, so to kind of get that 360 opportunity to get support is, I think, really amazing.
Right.
We're lucky to have them.
Okay, so you have any questions on that? And then last but not least, is you're all set with the why, Harry, right? To get clarification on that?
Yeah, I'll get that.
Okay. And then we have Kate and I are the liaisons for the next project, which is the East Gloucester Open Space. And they're requesting $300,000, but that's really a total of $3 million. Because they're looking for a 10-year, they're looking for us to help pay off a 10-year loan order for.
It's like City Hall.
Exactly. They're modeling their request after the City Hall project. And I had a conversation with Eric today, Kate, with a couple questions for him, because I did see the letter that came, it was in the document as part of the open space, which, when I read the letter, it didn't really seem to me as an endorsement. We really want, this is like what I read in that letter was, they were in favor of it. They were in favor of it. Maybe I was just expecting something a lot stronger to say, hey, this is our top priority, which I don't think.
But I mean, open space has a lot of priorities. Dog count is a huge priority also.
Exactly.
So, I mean, I wouldn't, but I don't think that we rank our priorities necessarily. I mean, this is a big, it was quite involved in hosting, meetings and getting community
Right.
feedback and,
Well, I guess that's my question. My question is, if we're going to commit $3 million over 10 years to a project, I would think it would be, hey, this is the most important thing we gotta do in Gloucester, because as a committee member, I'm not gonna be on here for 10 more years, but I'll probably be on here for, I think I got 2 or 3 years left, 3 years left coming this year, is if I'm gonna get 300,000 a year to open space for the next 10 years, I'm not gonna give them anything else, am I?
No,
No. Probably not, probably not.
well, the 10-year window is the only thing, things change.
Yeah.
There could be
Lots,
some
yeah.
program that came about that would subsidize that beyond. So, I mean, I don't have a beef with 300 grand a year for, maybe on well, what do they want us to do? They want us to guarantee the payments of
Yes.
Yeah,
Of the
Similar to
loan.
what we did with City Hall, when we had that, was it 100,000 that we just paid off this year? But you remember each year we had to do the.
It was 198,000, what's it, yeah.
Whatever it was, it's that same kind of thing, that, we guarantee that we'll do that for 10 years. I think that's a big ask myself, but we're not here to talk about the 3 million right now.
Right,
It's definitely an eligible project. There were a couple of things that I questioned on the application. It looked like the total budget that they have listed under budget is $6 million. Where we had it as like 4.2 million. So I don't know, there seems to be a question there. They still have it clicked off as recreation and open space. It can only be one, and it should be recreation. It doesn't qualify for open space. So it was fixed on the eligibility form that
Right.
we did again in the application. So that needs to change back to recreation. I was curious if there's any other grants. Actually, you might know that. Are there any other grants that they're pursuing?
not that I know of.
So I feel like that's an opportunity too, that there, probably is more grants out there for something like this. Well, I mean, who knows what's happening with grants these days, but
who's running this?
the city of DPW.
The city DPW?
yeah.
They will be. So I would like a site visit.
So it's a double dip.
Explain it too.
It does look like, what? Well, we did it for City Hall.
Well, I did talk to
We just needed the budget.
Yeah,
I did talk to Eric today about a site visit. Previously, we didn't schedule one because they were doing demolition.
right.
And the building, the school building is down now. And we can do a site visit. And he's gonna get back to me. He's gonna talk to the committee tomorrow and get back to me. Because one of the things that came up, Harry, at the last meeting, and in fact, Matt and I talked about it at Washington Street, is when we do site visits, are they considered an open meeting? So we had to clarify that, and we got to a clarification on it today, is that if you have a quorum and you're gonna deliberate on the project, it has to be an open meeting.
But if fewer people go,
Right, if, and in that case, that's 5 or more, is a quorum. However, you can go and ask questions, you just cannot deliberate among yourselves. You can't discuss the project among
That's fine.
yourselves.
That's fine.
As long as you don't do that, it's not considered a notice of an open meeting. And you don't have to provide a notice of an open meeting. Did what I say make sense? Because I know it's.
Yes.
Okay, wait, one more time for the,
Okay, no, so there was a concern about us doing site visits. In the past, we only had 2 or 3 people go.
okay.
We're
Oh.
required by state law, as if you're having if you're having a
I just said the
discussion,
first part.
you need to have an open, it's gotta be declared an open meeting and the public is invited.
Yeah,
So the question is, can you do site visits with 5 or more people? Especially since Matt brought up last time that if the historic commission is, if we're seeing a historic preservation project, let's invite the historic commission.
Yeah.
Open space, let's invite the open space or rec commission. If it's affordable housing, invite them to come to the site visit with us.
What would that constitute then? That would constitute an actual meeting, an open meeting?
Yes.
Technically,
We'd have to notify the public that
I
we have an
understand.
open meeting. So we can avoid that, because we don't want to necessarily do that, because these things come up rather quickly, is if we don't have a quorum, it's not an issue, because sometimes only 2 or 3 people go, or when we go as a team, as a committee, we're not gonna discuss it during the site visit. We can ask clarifying questions, like if Eric, DPW, if we're down at the, East Gloucester Open Space Project, we can ask questions about it, we just can't discuss it among the members of the committee. We have to be in an open meeting to be able to deliberate.
I think that's good.
Inviting other committees.
We can do that. But the same thing, we can't deliberate and discuss the project and give and take at the site visit.
That should not be a problem.
No, it should not be a problem.
That's fairly clear, actually, I mean,
Yeah.
But we can't do it if there's a quorum. It's only a deliberation if there's a quorum.
Right. Does that make sense? Zoe, did I get that right?
Yep, that's
Okay.
I have a note on here, and I think it speaks to what someone else was saying. The application says, "We will seek funding opportunities via state and federal grants for recreation and open space to apply towards this project, potentially limiting the overall funding request." And so I wondered, does that mean they may not need 300K for
Yes.
10 years?
That's why I
So
asked.
if we had submitted it, what would that mean?
well,
We get that, like they would not get invoice, yeah.
Yeah,
So
we can get it back if they don't need it, because it's reimbursement.
so I just don't like, it takes away the incentive to see it.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why I asked if you were aware if they applied for other grants because of that was written in there.
we think a lot alike.
Yeah,
So I had some clarification, so he told me originally they got 6.2 million for the school project,
they got that.
Green Street. They spent 4.2 million on Green Street and this renting the space at St. Anne's. So now they had $2 million that they were gonna apply to the demolition
Okay,
and the abatement of the school.
okay.
All right, and they have not finalized that cost as of yet. So if there's any excess money from that project, from that piece of it, it will be applied to the,
Okay.
all right? So I was thinking, and I made the recommendation to Eric today, I said, Eric, when Zoe sends you your requested date to present to the committee, maybe you wanna come in August.
Yeah.
So you have a much better clarification of what your costs are gonna be.
So this $6 million that they're showing in the budget as the amount of,
Of the project.
so where does that come from? Like, is that what they're saying is the amount that this project, this
It
whole
includes-
recreation project is going to cost? Because in another area, they have it listed as
They're saying
4.2.
There's some people in the public has raised their hand.
Hammers.
Okay. Go ahead. Who?
Thank you. It's Mary Ann Albert Boucher. I just wanted to say I've been following this project for 9+ years. The $4.2 million loan order was taken out back in, I believe, 2019 or 2020. When they came forward, they could not, there were some things that were not accepted in the MSBA. And so they had to pull those out, and it came to 4.2 million. 1.5 to 2 million was for the Green Street rehab. 1.2 million was for the demolition, grading, and seeding of the East Gloucester School. And 1 million was for the rehab of the St. Anne School. Now, just a few months back, Mayor Greg Verga went before the city council and asked the city council if they would approve an additional $2 million so that they could do the demolition, grading, and seeding of the East Gloucester site, because they had run out of money with the 4.2 due to inflation over the last 3 or 4 years that this project has taken place. So the 6.2 that we're speaking of is not if anybody's confused, 6.2 is not just for the East Gloucester School. 6.2 was for the rehab and rental space of St. Anne's. It was for the rehab of Green Street, and the 1.2 was for the demo grading and seating of East Gloucester School. But they ran out of money, had approximately 77,000 left to even start the project at the East Gloucester Elementary School site. Thank you.
So, at a minimum, they just need to update their, I mean, they're not giving us the right figures.
Right. Thank you, Mary Ann. And you're from Mount Pleasant Street, correct?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
I'm on Mount Pleasant Avenue. My family, my parents, bought the house directly next door to the East Gloucester Elementary School. It is now the home of my daughter, her husband, and my 3 grandchildren. And my family essentially has been, another thing you all should know is that a good portion of that land is the Lieutenant Arthur Maxwell Parsons Playground that was donated by the family of Lieutenant Arthur Maxwell Parsons in 1937. He was decapitated in the military in World War I. The Lieutenant Arthur Maxwell Parsons Playground went all the way back to where the front doors of the East Gloucester Elementary School were, and they got away with building the gymnasium of that school on a portion of the Maxwell Parsons Playground because they considered it recreational or play use for the children. Years went by and they added modulars to part of the Lieutenant Maxwell Parsons Playground, and they also added parking. And as school committee chairperson at the time, Jonathan Pope, stated that he didn't even know if it was legal for them to even add the modulars and the parking. So a good portion of that land, when you go and look at it, I would say over almost half of it, if not more, is a deed-restricted Lieutenant Arthur Maxwell Parsons playground. And the other portion was the land swap, Article 97 land swap for the taking of Mados Field. When they took Mados Field, the school building committee swapped the land of the Mados Field and gave it to the East Gloucester site. They had to give a piece of land of the same size or of the same value. And I've been to literally 99.9% of every meeting for the 9+ years. I'm very updated and aware of everything that's gone on with this project. And I really hope and pray that our children, they lost all of their open green space over at Veterans. Our children lost their school in East Gloucester, and our children desperately need that open green space. They need to be kids. They deserve it. We lost the Fuller School, Charlie Thomas Field. We lost Mados Field, and this is the makeup land. And I hope all of you fully support that our children desperately need this. They need open green grass trees to be children, just like we all were. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mary Ann. Okay, so any other questions on the East Gloucester open space?
Not at this time.
Okay,
Yeah, but they do need to update, I think, the application.
you get the application, you get the numbers correct.
Yeah, and definitely.
Oh, yeah. We'll do a site visit. Okay, any other questions on the projects? Okay, next up, so the next part will be hearing from each applicant. So Matt proposed, we're scheduled to have meetings on June 16th, July 21st, and August 18th. Zoe, you're gonna send out an email to the group.
Yep.
One
Say
thing,
those dates again, please. I missed 6/16.
June 16th,
7.
7/21 was scheduled, but Matt asked a question about that, in August 18th.
Okay.
So the meeting that's scheduled for the 21st, Matt was hoping that we could, he was not available oh no, it was supposed to be the 16th, the 21st, and the 18th. Matt is not available on the 21st of July, so he was hoping we could move it to the 14th.
What's this, June 14th?
No,
This is July.
June is the 16th.
Oh, July 16th.
yeah, June's gonna be the 16th,
July 14th?
July 14th,
Okay.
and August 18th. Those 3 days work for everyone.
Same place as usual.
Yep.
August,
Can we get this on the 14th of July, you think?
Oh, I'll check right now.
Okay,
thank you.
Yeah,
okay,
it's available.
The other two stay, as you announced them, right?
yes. June 16th, July 14th, and August 18th.
Right.
Okay, so we'll move those to that particular day. And then the next topic, before we adjourn, was, Matt has sent a note out about signage. And I know we had talked about administrative updates. So, we're all set for summer meeting, June 16th, July 14th, August 18th. And Zoe will send out the email, so if you do talk to any of your applicants, you can let them know that it's coming. They can give their first or second preference, and then we'll set up the schedule. Under administrative updates, we got I had site visits down, to schedule one for East Gloucester, Scooter Adventure.
Yep.
And then, once we have the playground on the lot, right? So we've got Hammond Castle this Friday.
Yes.
Okay, and then the signage, Matt had asked us, sent out an email asking us to follow up with some of the signage that we've noticed is either missing or is not very appropriately designated. One of those, Harry, was the Manship Artist.
I spoke to them about that. I haven't been out there, but I'm going out
Tomorrow.
well, maybe not tomorrow, maybe Thursday, when we have a meeting.
Yeah, when you have the next board meeting.
And I'll certainly make sure. I just don't understand how, she said that somebody was out there, Rebecca told me that, they told them that they didn't care where the sign went as long as it was visible. And so I said, yeah, but leaning against the washing machine is not what I thought we should be appropriate. So I hope they changed it. I was still in the way.
Oh, when we were there,
Huh?
it wasn't changed when we were there.
When was that?
When was that? A month ago?
I think that's where it was noticed, that that's where. it
Yeah,
was.
that's what, a month ago.
Well, I tell you what, I don't know, is the sign, I'll bring a sledgehammer out and put it right in the ground in the driveway myself.
Is it attached to?
It would be good.
It's-
No, no, it was just leaning on it.
So that's probably part of the problem is when we give them the signs, it's just a sign, so they have to put it
Oh,
on
they
a
have to-
stake
oh, I see.
of some sort.
You got your old ones on.
Okay, so, all right, we got that one, and then you were gonna,
So it's a village church, I just have to connect with them, I've spoken with them, but
Okay.
they're, we haven't been able to get together with somebody from their office, so we're
Okay.
hoping to get that this week. Sergeant House, they had taken it down because we're doing landscaping, they said it's put it back up, once they finish the landscaping, so it's back up.
okay,
And then Sicker Began House, they were going to be putting it up today or tomorrow. She said they were putting it up before the season starts. The season starts this weekend. And she had said Monday or Tuesday of that week, so that would be today or tomorrow.
okay, great.
I'll go over there at some point this week.
And then I haven't got a chance to talk to Linda, so if I don't get a chance, Linda Harvey from Hammond Castle, you going there Friday?
Yeah, I think it's up. I think I saw it there last time.
Well, it was up, it was kind of next to the parking lot, it was obscured.
Oh, so
Yeah.
you wanted somewhere else?
Yeah, somewhere else where it can be it was sort of like stuck around at the end of the parking lot, so you couldn't really see it unless, especially if a car parked in that spot, yeah. Hammond Castle.
It's not a great spot.
Okay.
Maybe they could, get a good spot to put it, okay?
Something down.
Well, would you have an interest in taking the Magnolia Historical Schoolhouse? Because Mark Pullen was the one who was assigned that spot,
Yeah.
and he's no longer on the committee.
Mhm.
It's on the ground leading on the building, could you talk to them over there?
Yeah, I can.
Okay, thank you. Matt was gonna talk to the, old YMCA, and Ocean Alliance, Rob was gonna handle that, they had a missing son.
Phone number on that one?
I don't know.
I can get you it, I'll
Can you-
email you it.
Okay, I don't have any other administrative updates, does anybody have anything? I do wanna mention that I know that the open space has a meeting, meeting tomorrow, and they're gonna talk about East Gloucester at some point on the agenda, I think. Yeah, and I think it's the beginning of the agenda, if anybody wants to jump in and listen into that as you get educated on that project.
I'm actually not gonna do it.
I think Mark Pullen's gonna, I saw on the agenda, Mark Pullen was down that to comment on that.
Where is that meeting? Physically?
It's here upstairs.
It is.
I actually don't see.
I thought I looked at the agenda earlier today. And again, if you go back and look at the old Affordable Housing Trust meeting on how they divvied up their money, if you got nothing else to do and you wanna see.
I went to that meeting.
Oh, you
I went
did?
to one of the, I went to one of
One
them.
of them, yeah.
I went to.
I actually don't see it on the agenda.
Oh, you don't see it on the agenda? Oh, I thought it was. Maybe I looked at it on the agenda. Anyhow,
I think that we used to have it as a running item,
okay,
but then activity kind of stopped.
I see.
So we took it off as a running item, until there was more to say.
Oh, okay,
But
Alright.
probably be a recurring thing
okay.
soon.
Okay, just one more quick thing. If we are considering doing something like a bond, like the 10-year thing, I would like to look at doing it for, not that this project isn't worth, for the housing, I would like to fund the housing trust that way. I would like to look at funding the housing trust that way.
They asked us to do that.
And with a multi-year guarantee.
Most of these projects are multi-year projects, and if we could really get rid of a lot of work here, if we just guaranteed them their loans and bonds as they go along,
Well, but then that would be for housing,
just the house.
for the housing trust, yeah, for
Well,
housing.
I think that's what they were asking for, not to take a loan, but they're asking every year to come in and ask us to give.
I know, but I would like to look at doing it the other way,
Have them take a,
have them,
well, I think
Have a
they,
bonded loan. Like that's.
can they get a bond, can they do it that way? Maybe they can't.
They're
I
just
don't-
a
yeah.
small.
I don't know if we can- we need an applicant to come back and,
So they're a committee of the city, so I think the city would have to bond that, and I would doubt that they would be willing to do that, especially if they.
That was my original question, how is this 6 million being
Well,
funded?
that's me too.
It's over a 10-year period.
It sounds like it's.
We're,
no, they're asking for 3 million.
yeah, I know, they're asking us for half of it, where's the other half coming
Yeah.
from? And
Well, first of all, I think
that
that 6
bond,
million is a wrong number, it sounds like, so I don't think we know how much is for this project yet, but yes, that's a good question, it'll come from
Oh,
taxpayers.
she's raised her hand again, I just.
Yeah, Mary Ann has raised her hand, they've already spent that money, Harry. Mary Ann?
It's already, it just.
That's
it's
correct.
already-
4.2 million, they already took out a loan for, it was already approved by the city council, it's already have been spent. Mayor Greg Verga went back last fall, I believe October, November, asking for an additional $2 million to demo the East Gloucester School the building because they ran out of money with that 4.2. So this $6.2 million has nothing to do with what they're asking you for. That additional 2 million that Mayor Verga went back for in the fall was to do the demolition, grading, and seeding of the site. Now they're coming in and they're asking you for $300,000 a year to help fund the new park and playground that they want to create where the site is, because there is no money to create anything. And
Is that 3 million the total cost of what that part of the project will be?
well, to be honest with you, we had a few meetings, the public did, in City Hall with Weston and Sampson. Weston and Sampson came in, they asked the public if, what they'd like to see there. The public did give them some ideas of what they would, what the community would like. And then months later, we were invited back, and Weston and Sampson had created like a pretty much a final draft. And we were shown that, but we were never given any amounts. We don't know any amounts. And I met with Mike Hale, and Weston and Sampson, it's a pretty elaborate park and playground. To be honest, I don't think we'll see quite an elaborate, maybe more of a passive playground and park. But it would be really nice to see something for our children, because we've taken it all away. The children over at East Veterans have a 60 by 90 piece of turf. They've got play structure, but they don't have any open green space. And so the children in East Gloucester not only have their school taken away, but right now their playground, I mean, the Maxwell Parsons playground has been closed due to the demolition process. So hopefully, I've been there pretty much every day, going down and looking at it, and it could be quite a beautiful site. And after COVID, we need these places. East Gloucester does not have, we have Swenson's, but that's, kids can't go up in there by themselves anymore. It's very secluded. And this would be a beautiful open space that our community really misses. The neighborhood really misses the children. And it's something when the community misses the kids. And we do.
So Mary Ann, this is Harry Hogan, and I just did the back of the envelope here. So the $6.2 million isn't considered at all in this request. That's already been spent. It's allocated out of the city's budget. So what this is a vision that someone has to rehabilitate the open space that's now available to the tune of $3 million over 10 years. Am I correct in that assumption?
That is my assumption. Like I said, 1.5 to 2 million was to go to the Green Street project to create the softball field. 1 million was the rehab and the rental of St. Anne's, and 1.2 million was to go for the demo, grading, and seeding of the East Gloucester school site. That totaled $4.2 million. They ran out of money over the course of the 3, 4, 5 years that it took. And Mayor Verga came back in the fall and said out of that 4.2 million, only 77,000 or 78,000 was left to do the demo, grading, and seeding of the East Gloucester site. He went back in and asked to add an additional 2 million to the 4.2 so they could complete that first phase which is those three things that I told you about. And the
Yes,
three, the
I
3
think
million.
I
that's coming- Excuse
I
me?
think I understand that, Mary Ann, but what I'm trying to get to the point is that the $3 million that's requested from CPC is a vision for the future and has nothing to do with the past monies that have been spent, right?
Correct.
To my assumption, you are correct, and that you'd have to ask Greg Catamatori, Eric, and Mayor Verga.
Right. Thank you, Mary Ann. We appreciate your input. And your
Thank you so
non-
much. Thank you so
All
much
right.
for letting.
Yeah, thank you. Yes, so that $3 million is additional money, but the
Yeah,
total.
so, yeah, so I guess.
The dollar figures at the state.
But it already states here in the application for a playground.
Right, so the
Right.
monies that, what they put in the application is not accurate
Yeah, correct.
information.
Has
for us.
nothing to do with the past.
Exactly, so we don't
Right.
know,
We
we don't know if that
litigated
3
that.
million is gonna cover
Right.
the whole cost of this, or so it just has to be updated.
Right.
What the accurate
But the actual
dollars are,
cost.
so right, we don't need to
Yeah.
know
I'm
or.
perfectly clear on it now. I just
Yeah.
was a little confused over the idea of
I think
bringing
what we
some
don't know is
past
that-
money into it.
Is that $3 million supposed to cover the entire project moving forward?
Hey, do you know what the cost of the program going, the project going forward is going to be? Any idea? Correct. Yeah, like a playground, everything they want to do there.
I mean,
I don't think we've seen that.
we've got, I mean, they break down the expenses here, but
Right.
it doesn't.
But it sounds like this 6 million includes the 4 million from the past, plus the 2 million extra that they asked for seeding and, I mean, it doesn't sound like there's
They
anything
didn't come to us for that.
with this.
Right.
What is it?
Anything else, Bill?
This is 1 million, 2 million, 2.5 million, 2 point, so these would add up to 2.6 million without the site work. Actually, this adds up then to 3 million.
3 million.
Right.
So the project expenses they've listed here do add up to 3 million. What's wrong is the loan for,
That is.
I mean, I guess they did get a loan for 6 million, but that's not really.
No,
it
it's
is for this
it's-
For this project.
I don't know what the budget is still, they're showing us this, but this, it should be match.
They should.
So it sounds like they're asking us to fund the whole.
Well, I'm not saying one way or the other, but what I'm gonna think about is, one, disincentive for them to seek any of the monies if we
Yeah.
commit to the program. Two, the city should bear some responsibility for this in their budget and not look to us as a sort of double dip money.
Yeah.
And three, like you say, it's spelled out there. It does seem like round numbers though.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, we'll get back to them and have them firm this up. Anything else, Zoe?
I move we adjourn.
I'll second it.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Moving along.
I think I've ever mentioned that about Harry Hoagland.
I'm Kate Parsons. I've seen you on the screen. This is so much.
Well, good luck.
Somebody is asking us to put the money.
How you, Bob?
I'm good.
That goddamn lock looks like a lock.
Oh, I know, yeah. Yeah.
Schedule, it looks like.
And those keys are perfect.
Yeah, you guys are traveling all over. You've been to Peru?
Yeah.
Yeah.
we
So
did.
it sounds to me like it's asking.
Yeah, so
So it looks like they're
we're
asking.
still
us to
reading,
fund-
so I had a rather.
Are we adjourned? Yes.
I found out.
I'm gonna shut that, it's already ended, but I'm gonna shut that off.
It's hard, like, it's out. What is what it
It
is?
would be solid if it was still recording.
So,
The red light would be solid.
you're not asking us to run the whole project. The whole playground project.
But that's all. Oh, yeah, I know.
Yes, you're right. Yes, you're right.
So there's a playground, there's a field, there are walkways, there's plenty.
So they've already spent 6.2
Is there
million.
parking?
There's, in the plan,